So your next step is to sew on the felt pieces. So I'm going to start with the mask. And you want to sew around the outside edge, not too close to the edge where you run off, but just a little bit in, all the way around. You're going to have to pivot a few times. So wherever you start, you back stitch. And you might have to pivot on a curve, pivot down here on this curve. You're going all the way around the outside. When you get back to where you started, you back stitch on top of it. And then you're going to have to do the inner eyes too. So around the center, like the circle here, not the black I'm talking about, but the orange, like around the outside of that to keep those down. Same thing, you'll back stitch, go around it and back stitch on top of it and do the same thing on that one. If you want to move the eyeballs to get them out of your way, the black eyes to get them out of your way until you're ready for it, you'll put them back on in a second. It might be helpful for this part. I'm going to sew this and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. You cannot forget to back stitch at the beginning and the end, and you also need to make sure that your thread is the same color as your felt. So because I'm doing orange, I've threaded my machine with orange thread. I'm going to pivot a few times around. When you get up to any pins, you want to make sure that you move them out of the way so they're not in your way at all. You never want to run over a pin. And sometimes my needle happens to stop down, which then I don't have to put my needle down manually, but a lot of the time it does not, and I have to make sure I remember to put my needle down whenever I'm pivoting. Getting right back to where I started, so this is where I'm going to back stitch right on top of where I began. And that's when I know I'm done. Now I'll pull it out, let you see it. I will trim off the edges, I'll trim off all the threads in a second, but if you look at the back, you can see all the spots that I pivoted, and that's how you really get the good mask shape. Then I'm going to go around the inside eyes now. These are all separate stitches. So this one around the outside is one big stitch, and then this one's one separate one, and then I take it out again and I do that one. Again, I back stitch at the beginning and the end of my stitch, always. Just fix a little thread problem, but of course I turn my light off when I'm fixing anything like that. Pivot a couple times to get around that curve, especially since it's small. It's a lot of pivoting and a lot of stopping and starting. You just have to take it slow. No rushing. It is worth it because it ends up looking really nice in the end. The more you pivot, the better curves you get. And this mask is a very curvy piece of fabric. Okay, where you get on top of where you started, that's where you're going to backstitch. Okay, and then I'm going to show you, I'm not gonna do it right now, but you'll see that here, this exact same stitch will be what you do around that edge. So go ahead and do that one too, and then that's when you're done. And then you can clip off all these threads when you're finished.